Governor Greg Abbott, meantime, already activating state emergency response resources ahead of this weekend's flood threat. He's actually activated Texas A&M's Task Force 1 Swiftwater rescue boat squads to support possible storm response operations across the state. The preparations come in addition to the ongoing operations in flood-impacted communities, that, of course, including Kerr County.
The death toll from the flooding in Kerr County has gone up again. 103 people have died in Kerr County alone. That includes 67 adults and 36 children. These new numbers come just hours after President Trump paid a visit to our area. And
we were there as the president took time to tour the damage in the Hill Country. Once landing in Kerrville, the president and the first lady wasted little time meeting with first responders, thanking them for their work.
The people here, first responders, the sheriff's office, all of the police, law enforcement, they've done an unbelievable job.
After getting a briefing from local officials, the president sat down with them, along with Governor Abbott, Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, even Dr. Phil, at a 45-minute-long roundtable talk.
We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. We're going to look and see how can a thing like this, they could say it's a 100-year, somebody said it's a 500-year event. It doesn't, we're not going to let a thing like this happen again.
Also, before the roundtable, the president and first lady meeting with families whose children died in the floods, clearly touched, so much so it delayed their entrance.
They gave me this special bracelet from the camp in honor of all of the little girls that they lost their lives.
The visit comes 1 week after floodwaters ripped down the Guadalupe River. It started in Hunt. It continued here through Ingram, where we are.
And it went all the way through Kerrville, causing more destruction, 125 miles all the way to Canyon Lake. Sadly, we know at least 100 people have been killed. Right now, 170 remain missing. At least 120 people have died and more than 170 remain missing.
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones. I've gone to a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes. I've never seen anything like this.
The president criticized a reporter who asked for his response to those who say warnings didn't go out.
Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that.
The president and the first lady both pledging to come back to the Hill Country to support the parents who lost children at Camp Mystic.
They also vowed to make sure the community has the right resources to recover.
Meantime, the president's visit to the Hill Country comes amid serious concerns about flash flood preparedness and a lack of immediate alerts. Last night, we brought you this dispatch audio recording, which showed first responders wanted alerts as the water rose.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4, standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
That call happened at 4:22 a.m. last Friday morning, but it would be another 6 hours before some people actually got an alert. John Trollinger, who you just heard from, helped bring the Code Red alert system to Kerr County. He says he was listening to his radios as a heavy rain started coming in.
And he believes a widespread alert should have gone out sooner.
News 4 San Antonio's Destiny Fuller caught up with him in his radio room. She joins us live on what he thinks should have happened. Destiny.
Mandy, John Trollinger tells me he doesn't consider himself to be an activist, but after hearing what he describes as officials sidestepping questions about what exactly happened on Friday night, he wants to hold them to the fire, demanding answers about why they didn't act quicker.
People need to know that this is a leadership failure. It's not what we are.
I spoke with retired Kerr County IT Director John Trollinger, running through the details of what he heard as he listened to first responders' scanners during Friday morning's floods. He paid for access to federal and state scanner frequencies after learning about the storm, and around 1 a.m. things picked up.
I said, well, there's going to be something, the river's going to rise. And then I woke up a couple of times and I looked at the radar, and then finally at 3 o'clock I looked at it and I saw it was still that red. That all red on the north and south forks, and I got up and I came in here.
He listened to traffic on 3 different radios, transcribing each dispatch as floodwaters made roads in Hunt unpassable. Then, at 4:22 a.m.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4, standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
10-4. Thank you very much. I just thought a code red might help.
Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring says an alert came out around 6 that morning, almost 90 minutes after the first request for a code red. Since then, county leaders have faced questions about what took so long.
We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with our families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So, thank you.
One quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out?
Trollinger helped introduce the Code Red program in the county back in 2009. The commission approving it that same year. They never had a problem getting the alert out quickly in the past.
The sheriff always approved when you send out a code red. But when they say supervisor, I don't know if that, who they mean today.
Adding, if changes are made, officials should reevaluate who has that authority.
Someone in command, the emergency manager, the sheriff, the chief, they would have a call list and make sure that someone was always available.
Again, Kerr County officials still have not definitively answered for what happened that night. But tonight, we are in Kerrville, standing in front of a vigil just behind me. They're honoring the lives of the people who were lost in those floods. Trollinger says this should not have happened, and he's going to push for those answers, as will we. Live in Kerrville, I'm Destiny Fuller reporting.
Yeah, we see it there, and in this video, people continue gathering at what we're calling the Wall of Hope in Kerrville to pay respects to the victims. They are crying, they're holding their hands up, they're putting signs there. This is along Water Street, and all week people have been laying flowers and other things at the 50-foot-long memorial.
Emma Allen at the live desk. Dozens remain missing as search and rescue efforts continue. More devastating news tonight. An Air Force family stationed out of San Antonio torn apart by that deadly flooding. The Santana family was staying at the HGR Hill Country Campground. Like other families we've told you about, it's located right next to the Guadalupe River. They were there when the floodwaters came through. Master Sergeant Eddie Santana Jr., his wife Camille, their 5-year-old, and Eddie's parents were all swept away. Eddie survived the flood, though. He woke up in a hospital with severe lacerations and head injuries. His wife and father were found dead, and as of today, his 5-year-old girl and his mother are still missing. Over $32,000 has already been raised for the family. That is the latest from the live desk.
All across the country, Americans' hearts are shattered. I had to be here as president. First Lady wanted to be here, and all the beautiful souls. And we're filled with grief and devastation. The loss of life. And unfortunately, they're still looking. There's a lot of missing children, possibly, mostly, we don't know, but they're still looking. And they'll find everybody, but it's not an easy thing. You would think it would be easy. It's very tough. I looked at what they're going through, what they have to do. But dozens and dozens of precious children taken from us with such, I looked at the pictures of almost all of them, and it's terrible.
As President Trump visiting Kerrville a bit earlier today after getting a first-hand look at the damage from last week's flooding. For the past week, we've seen a ton of support for the people of Kerrville.
More than $30 million has already been donated to the Texas flood relief efforts. According to the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country, they've gotten donations from more than 200,000 people. One of the largest donors is H-E-B. The chain, which started in Kerrville, donated $2 million to the recovery efforts. According to some with the foundation, millions of dollars is already being granted to local businesses, flood victims in need, first responders, and other nonprofits.
Over 100,000 individual donors have already made a gift online, by mail, by phone, and most meaningfully to us in person by just showing up at our office to support the fund. We have heard from Kerrvillians, Texans, Americans, and people all over the world say, we are with you today.
And they continue to search there, the search and rescue teams and recovery teams. They are searching miles of the Guadalupe River for more than 150 people who are still missing tonight.
Country music star George Strait plans to help raise money for the flood victims as well. He's holding a benefit concert on July the 27th in Boerne. The Straight to the Heart event is taking place at Estancia at Thunder Valley Indoor Arena. It is limited to 1,000 guests. He'll be supported by William Beckman, Ray Benson, and others.
We're back at the live desk. Kerrville Police Department saying it expects a large number of spontaneous volunteers to help with flood recovery efforts tomorrow. So many that they are using the Tivy Antler Stadium in Kerrville as the official site for volunteer check-in and registration. Officials say check-in will begin at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and if you plan on volunteering, you must register in advance with Texas Community Recovery. Volunteers will be asked to sign waivers and attend a short safety briefing before they are put to work. That is the latest from the live desk.
Right now, News 4 San Antonio is partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares Texas Tragedy Relief. Just scan the QR code to help provide meals and hope to first responders and survivors who desperately need our help right now.
Well, the floods brought some incredible damage to the infrastructure there in Kirk County. Homes were damaged and destroyed, but the roads, well, it also took a toll.
News 4 San Antonio's Joy Bergen joins us now on what's still closed down tonight.
Well, we have seen the damage in Kirk County, and so it's no surprise that this has led to some major road closures. I'm going to start off here talking about FM 1340. That is shut down right now, all the way from Ingram out to Highway 41. And then, of course, there's also State Highway 39. That's closed from Hunt down to 187. These are some major stretches of road for anyone who lives out here in the hill country. We also, of course, have a lot of bridges and high water crossings that have been destroyed and are still closed. Here's some of them. In Kerrville, Bear Creek at Arcadia, and Center Point, we've got Center Point River Road at Brinks Crossing, near Comfort, Ehlers Road. Now, this is a short list, you might think, but there's actually several roads all across Kirk County that are open, but only to emergency crews or residents. So Kirk County telling us that if you try to drive through some of those areas, these areas that were really hard hit, you may have to show proof of residence to get through. And that really goes back to what officials have been telling us about this from the beginning, since this started, and that is that unless you are part of an approved, organized volunteer team, it's really best to stay out of this area. That is so that rescue crews, officials can all work safely and efficiently in these areas. There's a lot of help that's going to be needed down the road, but for now, that is what's best. We'll continue to keep you updated on this. Stay safe.